Introducing Delphi Linux server support in RAD Studio 10.2. RAD Studio 10.2 adds 64-bit Linux server support for the Delphi language and provides support for server-side applications. This includes console applications, web broker and data snap applications, as well as support for RAD server development and deployment, both standalone or as Apache modules. Applications can also access data via FireDAC, Embarcadero's high-performance data access library. With RAD Studio 10.2, you can build a Delphi console application targeting Linux servers. For example, you can easily get the OS version returned as a string and display it with a write-line statement. We can deploy this console application to both Windows and Linux without any code changes. Running it on Windows, we see the expected output. Via the target platform's right-click menu, you can add Linux support to your console application. Using a connection to your Linux PA server, you can debug your Linux application right from the IDE. We can see the output from the console app in the event log window, and we can inspect the variables in memory too, just like you would expect. With Delphi Linux server support in RAD Studio 10.2, you can also build, deploy, and debug a standalone web broker module on Linux. For example, you can deploy the same application designed for Windows servers to your Linux servers. On Windows, we can start the web server and test it from the browser and see our response as expected. We can then deploy the same application to our Linux server or make some changes. For example, we can set the server to start automatically in the run server method right before the while loop and update the message shown in the browser after deploying the application to our Linux server and connecting to it from the browser. RAD Studio 10.2 provides Linux distribution support for Ubuntu and Red Hat Enterprise Edition. Linux support in RAD Studio 10.2 is available in the Enterprise Edition and above. Delphi Linux Server provides support for RTL features including Linux file system access, threading and parallel programming library support, memory management, and HTTP and REST library support for HTTP calls. RAD Studio 10.2 includes full support for remote debugging on a Linux system, and a Linux compiler is ARC enabled.